So, like, tell me, where are you from? Like, your basic introduction.
Yeah, like what I said, I'm a friend of AJ, and I'm just joining in on his behalf because, of course, we don't want to miss the opportunity for all the learners out there to have the chance to see the videos. When it comes to step by step how to learn how to speak in English,
Absolutely.
proper pronunciation, and sort of
Mm-hmm.
like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired of what he does, so I said, why not? So
Yeah, I mean, like, I would just summarize my story in a very brief manner. So,
sure.
see, up till eighth standard, I was studying in a Hindi medium school. Like, the books were in English, everything was fine, but there was no
Mhm.
proper environment to speak English.
Yeah.
After that, I switched my school, so I had a hard time, trying
Mm.
to gel up with the new students, and they used to speak in English, and I had a hard time trying to make simple sentences like day-to-day sentences as well. I'm from Uttarakhand. Have you heard about a
Sure.
place called
Yeah, I
Nainital?
do. Yeah,
Mhm.
I have.
I'm from Uttarakhand. I write content. I'm a content
Mhm.
writer. I love to talk to people. That's why I'm in
Mhm.
Clapingo. And I love traveling a lot,
Okay,
specifically
perfect.
hiking,
Mhm.
going for expeditions and trekking and everything. So, yeah. Okay. So, please let me explain the situation here. Like, the name
Mhm.
is showing AJ and
Yeah,
you're Jennifer.
I know.
So,
Yeah, and I,
so,
I don't know how to go around with it to change it. So, but yes,
okay. The name itself. All right. No
yeah.
worries. It's just the name issue. Okay. So, like, tell
Mhm.
me, where are you from? Like, your basic introduction.
Yeah, like what I said, I'm a friend of AJ, and I'm just joining in on his behalf because, of course, we don't want to miss the opportunity for all the learners out there to have the chance to see the videos. When it comes to step by step how to learn how to speak in English,
Absolutely.
proper pronunciation, and sort of
Mm-hmm.
like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
I was inspired of what he does, so I said, why not? So
So your friend AJ, he's like a YouTuber or something?
yes, he does YouTube as well. So
Okay. So what kind of content does he post?
I mean, he actually help a lot of people when it comes to speaking English, specifically to those people who's just beginners and
Mm-hmm.
medium. So it is inspiring what he does. So
Sure, sure, sure.
like
So,
even he does videos such as like how to use past, present, and future tenses. How
mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
pronunciations like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it does
Mm-hmm.
make sense, of course, Clapingo, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So, have you like attended any session before as well? Before
Yeah, I
this one?
have yesterday. I attended 2 sessions yesterday. Yeah,
Two sessions yesterday. So, how was your experience?
experience is pretty much good too. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can say that. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So, where are you from exactly? Like, which place?
Here I'm staying here in Manila, so
Noida.
Delhi in NCR. Yeah.
Okay, NCR. Okay, so what do you do like professionally?
Um, I I do corporate.
Corporate.
Yep.
Okay, like IT?
Not exactly.
Not exactly IT.
Yeah,
Okay.
but tell me about yourself. I mean, just a small introduction before
Yeah,
we hop on.
sure, sure. So, yeah, I'm from Uttarakhand. Have you heard about a
Sure.
place called
Yeah, I
Nainital?
do. Yeah,
Hmm.
I have.
I'm from Uttarakhand. I write content. I'm a content
Mhm.
writer. I love to talk to people. That's why I'm in
Mhm.
Clapingo, and I love traveling a lot,
Okay,
specifically
perfect.
hiking,
Mhm.
going for expeditions, and trekking and everything. So, yeah. And
Sure.
yes, I'm interested in photography as well. So I've
Okay.
taken a course online for
Mhm.
astrophotography.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So I,
As of now, I'm in Delhi
mhm,
only because I work here.
okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I study and all, so that's why.
That's cool. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, the audience of AJ basically are the people who wants to learn how to how to formulate
Mm-hmm.
a proper
Yeah,
sentences and everything like
yeah.
that. I mean, I hope I think that you have also started when it comes to how to speak
Mm.
in English before.
Yeah,
What do you
definitely.
think the tips that you can advise to those beginners who actually
Sure.
want to learn how to speak in English? And I think we can start off
Mm.
from there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would just summarize my story in a very brief manner. So,
Sure.
see, up till eighth standard, I was studying in a Hindi medium school. Like, the books were in English, everything was fine, but there was no
Mhm.
proper environment to speak English.
Okay.
After that, I switched my school, so I had a hard time, trying
Mm,
to gel up with the new students, and they used to speak in English, and had a hard time trying to make simple sentences like day-to-day sentences as well.
right.
But yeah, eventually in the year 2015, I remember I appeared for a BPO interview in Gurgaon. So
Mm,
I went there. That was my first interview ever officially. I couldn't speak a word. I was fumbling. I was literally choked. So I
yeah.
was not selected, of course.
Mm,
So the person told me, the HR, she said that you need to work on your communication skills. They're
mm,
not up to the level as of now. So I was quite disheartened, of course, because I was not that mature as of age and experience as well. So I thought this is quite disheartening. What will I do in my life and all that thing?
yeah.
I started self sabotaging myself. But yeah, after that, my sister, she like supported me through this journey. So she said you should probably start reading more books and
Mm,
familiarize yourself with the environment, like
right.
listen to some content in English. Perhaps you
Mm,
can start watching a web series or start watching Hollywood movies so that you'll have a better understanding of the
right.
language.
Would
So
that
yeah,
be in subtitles?
initially with subtitles, frankly, I started watching Friends. If you have watched
Okay.
Friends, yeah. So I
Okay.
used to
When you
enjoy that
said
show.
initially, would do you think you said initially there's like subtitles on those series like the Friends, right? And
Yeah,
do you think would that help the beginners who's just started to learn the language? Would it help if there's any subtitles on movies, Hollywood movies, or
yeah,
even series?
sure. So that time I had no idea how things exactly works, but yeah. But now I can say that perhaps they should not jump into like watching a very language-rich program like Friends. Definitely, the
Mhm.
vocabulary is difficult at times. I usually suggest people starting with the basics, like listening to a short story and
Mhm.
maybe talking about their routine, talking about their life experiences so that they can work upon their past tense, present tense as well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, these are the things I recommend them. So I
Mhm.
ask them questions about their routine, and then I ask them to tell me about their complete routine again. So they also gain this kind of confidence as
Okay.
well, that they were able to speak for like 2 minutes or something. So the more confidence you have, I think the more you can articulate yourself in a better way. So
Mhm.
this is what I do here. But yeah, in my time, I think back in 2015, I was totally engrossed in reading and watching content like American movies and everything. Yeah, I also did one thing. Like I used to stand up in front of a mirror, give myself a topic, look in the eye, and talk
Right.
about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And there's one more thing I used to practice. Whenever I used to be outside, I used to observe my surrounding, and I used to make sentences in English, like observing by
Right.
just
Mhm.
observing my surroundings. So initially, I was thinking in Hindi. I was like translating it into English, but eventually, I
Okay.
realized that now I'm able to frame sentences in English as well without even
Yeah.
have to
I
think
mean,
in
because
Hindi first.
translating Hindi to English doesn't make sense at all.
It
I
doesn't
mean,
make sense.
you
Yeah,
will find it more difficult, specifically
absolutely.
those beginners out there who just
Hmm.
started learning the language. And
Hmm.
um, and I think this is I don't know if it is for sure one of the common questions for
Hmm.
me. Basically, of course, it is a
Hmm.
common question for me for those people who just started,
Hmm.
learning the language. Would you
Hmm.
advise them to speak more of the language plus the grammar, or just
Hmm.
the language first and then afterwards the grammar?
Okay. So to the beginners, I don't recommend grammar at first because see, grammar makes things more complicated at first. So what
Mhm,
happens once you have this habit of listening and reading, I think the
mhm.
grammar gets embedded in your subconscious, when you start
Okay.
listening to something and you realize that, okay, this sounds a little inappropriate.
Mhm,
So the grammar comes naturally. But yeah, obviously there are a few things which you should have a technical knowledge about, like especially the tenses and the parts
mhm.
of speech and a few modal verbs as well, because modal verbs are something which you use in your day-to-day conversations, right? So
Exactly.
I recommend grammar after some time, not initially. I
Mhm,
never ask people to learn the definition then make sentences like noun is the name of a person, place,
mhm.
or thing. Not like that, like the way we used to do in school, because
So yeah.
in school, I think we just learned grammar. We didn't execute it anywhere with the
Mhm,
help of activities, because I think activity based learning is really important. That is
mhm.
really essential, actually.
But how about basic grammar plus using the language? Do you think that would
So
make sense too?
So for basic grammar, I give more emphasis on the present simple tense. I ask people about their routine. So now they have a basic idea that this tense is
Right.
used for things in general, facts, and
Mm.
something which is repetitive in nature.
Right.
And
Mm.
in the next session, maybe I ask them about their yesterday's routine,
Mm.
some finished actions from the past. So now they have an understanding of simple past tense, that they woke
Mm.
up, they went to office, they had their lunch at this
Mm.
particular time. And after that, future simple, I just tell them that, these are the events which are going to happen, which you have some arrangements for, and you just use will for that. So maybe I can ask them about their tomorrow's routine, maybe a trip
Mm.
which they're planning for next month,
Right.
anything. And for progressive tenses, I think I explain them in a different manner. I ask them questions first, and then I ask them to tell
Mm.
me which tense do you think it is, like verb plus ing, and now they can relate with it. So sometimes,
Right.
if it's
Mm.
possible, I show them the timeline also, that this action
Mm.
is happening here, and this
Yeah.
particular action is happening here in a sentence.
Mm.
So with the help of graphics, visuals, and activities, and
Yeah.
context, they're able to understand
Mm.
much of it. If I just tell them that present perfect tense is this used for recently finished
Yeah.
actions, and
That's
we're
true.
not concerned about the timing but the action, they'll be all confused. They don't know what present perfect is, because present perfect has
Mm.
present in it, but is something related to something which happened just near about in the past. So I
Yeah.
don't want to
Mm.
make it more puzzled for them. So that's what I do. Like, I ask them more questions and they answer it. Like, tell me about your life experience. Have you been to this place?
Right.
And then say,
And then
yeah, I have
plus,
been there. Yeah.
yeah, plus visualizations like visuals as well, so
Visualizing
that they can
visuals
relate.
as well. Like, I show them a picture and I ask
Mm.
them to, summarize that picture. What is happening in the picture? So they say,
Mm.
like, this person is doing this and that person is trying to clean the window or something. So now they have understanding of continuous tense, right? And then I give them
Yeah.
examples also. Like,
Mm.
if I say I drink water,
Mm.
that's a habit, more of a routine. And if I say I am drinking water, that is something
Yeah.
which is happening at the time of speaking. So I keep it pretty simple, actually,
Right.
not very technical. That's my
I
approach
mean,
usually.
since we are talking about simple here,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts about short sentences? You know,
Short
would
sentences,
you advise them as well that
like phrases and all.
no, not only that, like
Hmm.
we don't need. So sometimes people, uses foghorns and even like that,
Okay,
pauses, and
fillers.
then they are more instead of just give the clarity,
Hmm.
crystal clear, but then again they're just giving more of the background rather than the on the point topic. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of that, what are your thoughts of short sentences? I mean, just be clear, don't go around the
Yeah.
bush.
Yeah, definitely. So sometimes what people usually do is they try to make a sentence, their thoughts more complicating. Like,
Yeah.
usually they try to add more vocabulary into it. So I always
Mm.
tell them that you
Yeah.
should always not try to give more details to it. Just make
Mhm.
it simple.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
if I'm talking about their routine, if I ask them, like,
Mhm.
what time do you usually have your lunch? So they I used to have my lunch at this time, but now
Mhm.
these days I'm having this time. So like they're like
Mhm.
giving more details to the sentence, and
Correct. Yeah.
it's not making sense here,
Mhm.
because used to is used for a past habit. And I like some people, I have noticed people use used to and will a lot
Mhm.
in a sentence. I will after that I will go to office. Now they're
Mhm.
talking about a routine, but they're using will. And now it's my job to like clarify the difference, that will is used for the future perspective. Now you should say I go to office. So
Yeah.
I show them, I write sentences in the chat box,
Mhm.
and then I try to explain that to them. And I think people do pretty well after that, because the more
For sure.
if you can explain someone something in a very simple manner, that means you have a better understanding of it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, if I have a better understanding of tenses, I should be able to teach tenses to a
Mhm.
7-year-old as well, who
That's
has a
true.
better
Yeah.
understanding of the
Mhm.
language actually, right? So this is how I go about it. And
Mhm.
like this, deal with this fillers, like
Yeah.
these things.
Too
I
much
always
focus. Yeah.
tell
Failures.
people, yeah. So I always tell people to first of all not speak really fast, to like control their rate of speech.
Yeah. Have your own
So
pace.
yeah, they like take time. I give them examples of a lot of people. Like, if you've heard of Sadhguru, okay,
Mhm.
have you heard of Sadhguru?
Yeah. And
Yes,
I
yes.
think that's where it's coming from when I ask you about your thoughts about short sentences, because the
Hmm.
more you elaborate, the
Yes.
more fillers,
Hmm.
foghorns is there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think the sentence should be like precise in nature and really
Yep.
short as well. If you try to explain, give more details to it, eventually you're going to make a mistake and then feel bad about it. And you might get
That's true.
anxious, specifically in a professional environment. For example, if a person is appearing for an interview
Mhm.
and now they're trying to give more details and they're like puzzled up in their mind itself. Now, moment they make a mistake and they realize
Mhm.
it, they lose the confidence.
Instead of
And
instead of just multiple choice like A B C D, it's like A B C D E F G H. Yeah,
EFGS, yeah. Yeah, so being precise is really important.
that's true.
To the point, and
Mhm.
you should go slow about it. Like never.
Mhm.
So usually in an interview, also, like I've heard from people that they subconsciously they try to finish it up. They just want to. They just don't want to face it anymore. They
Right.
just want to wrap up the interview and then go home. It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. The
Mhm.
more you connect with the person, so that person is also doing his job, and you are
Yeah.
there to just express yourself, articulate your thoughts on
Mhm.
that. If I
True.
keep thinking that whether I'll get the job or not, how it's gonna happen, and
Mhm.
there are like lots of things are going in my subconscious, it's not gonna work like that because that
Yeah.
is not in my control. Getting a job
Mhm.
or not, that is totally out of my control. What is in my control? To be the best, to express myself in a very
Mhm.
precise manner. So that these are the like this is quite psychological, but yeah, I always
Mhm.
tell people who have, you know, trouble while appearing for an
Yeah.
interview. I always tell
Mhm.
them, relax first. Like, don't have this unrealistic goal of getting the job. Getting the
That's
job
true.
or
Yeah.
not, that's not in your hand, actually. That is in the hand of the person who is conducting your interview. He
Yeah.
or she will decide whether you're fit for the job or not. Your main focus
Mhm.
should be solely on representing yourself, your thoughts, your
Yourself.
ideas.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's it. That's what I tell people with my experience as well, because I've worked for the BP industry for about
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I've like appeared for like 2 to 3 interviews. So it's like human tendency to, when you
Mhm.
enter the cabin, your legs are
Yeah.
shivering, your breathing is out of
Yeah.
control. It happens.
Mhm.
Even though you're the best at it, like you can have all the technical skills in the world, but when
Mhm.
it comes to one-on-one human interaction, things go haywire somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I love the most when it comes to speaking the language, I mean, English is, the
Mhm.
confidence matters the most than the
Confidence matters a
fluency.
lot.
Though, yeah, speaking the language fluently is one of the
Mhm.
utmost priority, but the confidence, if your self-esteem is too low, then of course it would affect how you speak
Mhm.
and how you introduce yourself to the
Mhm.
audience that you're relaying the
Mhm.
message.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
lastly, I mean, what
Mhm.
what can you, just to close our, session today, what is the last thing that you can advise to them?
Uh, in the term of like practicing like your spoken English, I would just say that you should enjoy the process. So if you take that thing as a task to
Pressure.
do or something, like you have to do it, otherwise things won't go easy, or it won't be a smooth ride. It doesn't work like that. Enjoy the process, make mistakes, learn from it, and then just keep moving on. That is my like advice for all the people out there.